All right, we're live. I got DCFAYGOGUY joining me tonight. I'm your host, Rombone. DCFAYGOGUY, what's going on?
Uh, how's it
It's
going?
going, man. Fucking thank you for doing the show with me tonight. Much appreciated.
Anytime, anytime.
Absolutely. This should be a good time. Top 5 psychopathic releases ever. Coming up with this list was pretty difficult for me. I thought I had a pretty basic idea when I first started it, coming up with the list, and kind of realized quickly I was like, I can't just throw my favorites in. I got to make this like, if I'm going to show somebody Psychopathic Records, these are the 5 albums I'm going to show them. These are the
Right.
standout albums Psychopathic Records has ever put out. How is the list putting together the list for you?
The list was hard as hell when you first, again, like you said, when you first came up with this idea. I'm like, okay, I don't want to do favorites because anytime anybody asks me, like, what's your favorite ICP album? What's your favorite twin? If I was to make this list like that, it would be the same shit. I'm like, all right, let's just immediately set parameters. Not a favorite album. And pretty much for the most part, I tried to limit it to not being a specific group or artist. I made sure it was a unique release through Psychopathic Records. So that's the parameters I set for myself just to make it different.
Okay. Yeah, and another thing I was thinking, I was like, I should have a different artist for each one, but
Mm-hmm.
it's difficult when you got people on there that just put out such classic material, such
Yeah,
definitive work, if you will.
very.
All right. So why don't you kick us off? Why don't you kick us off with your number 5?
Number 5. All right, so number 5, and I picked this to be number 5 just because of just the times, I guess. But I picked the Hurricane of Diamonds compilation because at the time that this came out was the height of the beef. You know, division in the juggler world was super high, and to me, this is basically what Psychopathic was still at the time when people were like, "Oh, it fucking sucks now. It's stale. They've gone downhill." And I think this was such a great piece of music, everything that everybody did in 2017, and they put it all on a disc. So for me, the Hurricane of Diamonds is just, it was a way to show we're still shining, even when motherfuckers think that we're not. So for me, that was number 5.
Oh wow, that's okay. Damn, you went way crazy with that one. I was not. I damn. Okay. All right. So this is what we're. That's what you're doing. All right.
Yeah, I wanted to do something where it's like it showed everybody that was on the record label at the time, and just you guys think we're done? We're fucking shining. Hurricane of Diamonds,
So what
baby.
is all on that CD? Because I don't have that.
So that one there, that's got the Hurricane of Diamonds single that they released, If We Were a Gang, Sleep Creeper by Blase Rose, Indestructible by ICP, For Life, which was the Violent J song, 7 Foot, 8 Foot, Tell These Bitches from Shaggy, Fuck My Dad, Flint Town Titty Bar, Bathroom, Black Blizzard, Bloody, Juggalo Love Cipher, Noited, Jelly, and Heated, Dead Body Man 3, Bleep, and Cuss Words. I'll throw that up here.
Okay.
Hopefully y'all can see that.
All right. So basically, a compilation of the new shit that they were putting out 2 years ago.
Yeah.
All
Yep.
right. All right. My number 5, Dark Lotus Tales from the Lotus Pod OG.
Ooh.
This album right here is the epitome of wicked shit. Anybody that listens to my show has watched the Wicked Shit Wednesday knows how I feel about this album. Absolutely fucking classic. Even though it has Mars on it, who is never officially signed to Psychopathic, this displays ICP Twisted Blaze perfectly. Like their chemistry on this album, the shit that they were spitting on this album, so dark, just amazing album. It was a great time when this album came out. 2001, we were still leading up to the 6th. And like I said, one of the best just wicked shit albums, to put it in the genre of wicked shit horrorcore, whatever you want to call it. One of the best. And this album right here, definitely, in my opinion, the top 5 from Psychopathic.
Hell yeah, I can't dispute it.
Man. Love that album. And Mars, even though, like I said, never officially on Psychopathic Records, meshed so well with those guys. And it's kind of crazy because he was just some random dude at the time.
Oh yeah, he did. And I've recently gotten into the OG because, you know, I was one of the ones that came in hearing the ABK version. Yep. But there's actually quite a bit of the Mars ones that I like better.
Yeah. The ABK version to me, only because it was second, it should have never happened. They should have just left it untouched. You know, you could still hear Mars's parts, backing vocals behind ABK when he's rapping. It's like, oh man, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, probably should never have done it, but I mean, it is what it is.
All right.
So, all right, I guess we'll keep moving right along. So my number 4, I went with another compilation, so don't be too surprised by this one. But I love what they did with these compilations. And this one I did pick a favorite because this one to me is the best piece of work out of the 3. And you can fight me on that if you want to. Psychopathics from Outer Space, Part 2. Pretty much the same kind of reasons as Hurricane of Diamonds. I picked this because it showcased everybody on Psychopathic Records at the time, and everybody fucking killed it on that record. So, Psychopathics from Outer Space Part 2. Just everybody on Psychopathic doing their thing, and they banged it out.
You said that's your favorite one out of the Outer Space series?
Oh, yes.
I'm not mad at that.
I like them all. I like them all 3 quite a bit. Yeah. But if I had to pick one as a favorite, it would definitely be Part 2.
For me, it's between 1 and... I like all 3 as well, but I like 1 just a little bit more. But, I mean, Part 2, I'm not mad at all. There's so many good songs in there. Why You Wanna Hoe. Bitch, Shut Up. Like, I remember what...
Hollywood.
Yeah. That shit. What's the one? The ICP... is it right after Bitch Shut Up? Under the Big Top? That fucking track is so dope. Violent J went the fuck in on that track, rapping his ass off. Really dope. Yep. Not mad at that. You know what? For a top 5 displaying compilations, I'm not mad at that at all, because then you're covering all bases. You're covering all artists too.
Yep. That's the goal I wanted to go for with my top 5.
Fuck yeah.
Not a specific artist, but everybody.
Yeah. All right. My number 4. And today is actually the 12th anniversary of Clockwork Rae. A lot of juggalos will say One Less G in the Hood is Blaze's best album. I'll say it's my favorite.
Yeah.
But this album right here, I think this is his best work. You know, while One Less G might be my favorite, I can acknowledge that this is, in my opinion, is his best work. The production on this album, again, in my opinion, is the best production on any Psychopathic album ever. The beats on here are fucking nuts. And he got beats from everybody. He got Potluck, underrated from Potluck, producing shit on here. But I mean, tracks like Blaze Up, Ill Connect, Keep It Simple with Cut Calhoun and Big B, like, displays Blaze's gangster shit so well.
It was actually Ill Connect that got me into Blaze, because I'd seen it on Psychopathic, the videos, and I hadn't at the time really given Blaze a shot. And when I heard that song, I was like, damn, dude, this is actually pretty fucking dope. So Clockwork Rae was actually the first album from Blaze I heard.
Yeah, that's the only one song I don't like on here is Dead Neck. I just don't. It's the only song I don't like on here. But every other song is just banging. Eggplants, super dope. Some of them thugs. Zip codes and time zones with Violent J. They both fucking murder that shit. That beat is so classic too. I think Shaggy produced Zip Code and Time Zones, if I remember right. And then to end the album with Escape Artist, and then going into Wishing Well, man, when he plays those songs live, the crowd fucking loves that shit. Eats it up, sings along. So dope. So yeah, number 4, Blaze Your Dead Homie, Clockwork Rae.
Yeah. All right, my number 3, and I know I kind of said no groups, no artists, but I had to put this one out there. I'm still very new to them, but goddamn, you have to put this in there as some of the greatest things to come out of Psychopathic. And I picked Zug Island's Crack Tiles. And the reason that I picked this is because up to this point, you had rap mixed with rock showcased quite a bit through Freak Show, through Amazing Juckle Brothers, but to have rock laced with rap, this is fucking unique. And just the way the fucking album flows so well all the way through, phenomenal piece of work.
Love that album. I can't be mad that Crack Tiles is on there because it was written by Violent J. Sin killed the vocals on there. I didn't like it at first. I just kind of dismissed it. I was like, oh, rock band. But maybe a handful of years later, I went back and listened to it, and I was like, oh, man, I get why everybody likes this album. And, yeah, really great. And for Violent J to write, a rock album like that, I know Mike P did the production and shit, but
right.
As a rapper writing a rock album, he fucking killed that shit.
Fuck yeah, dude. I really kind of wish that they could go back to that original formula with Violent J being a part of the group, but I don't see it happening. They kind of did for the Toxicology, but I mean, it is what it is.
All right. Moving right along, number 3. For me, I'm going Riddle Box.
Oh, shit.
This album right here, this is when ICP found their sound. Carnival of Carnage was dope. Ringmaster, really dope. The EPs in between. But this was that album where they really embraced the clown sound, the clown image, just the whole Dark Carnival, everything. This is where they found their sound. Riddle Box, fucking classic.
Absolutely.
The
I was actually listening to that at work the other day, and that almost came onto the list until I told myself, no, don't do it, because you're going to fucking make your list a priority of, or a majority of this one group.
Right. Yeah.
I agree. Absolutely. That's where they found, like, if you was to give somebody a CD, be like, this is Insane Clown Posse. Riddle Box is it.
Absolutely. You got classics on here. The Show Must Go On, when they play that live and bring out the Faygo, start spraying the fucking crowd down. So dope. Chicken Hunting, of course. Classic Slaughterhouse remix. Toy Box, great storytelling by Violent J. So many great storytelling songs on here. Even Cemetery Girl. Headless Boogie, love that shit. Old Evil Eyes, one of my favorite songs. I'm Coming Home, just the epitome of Wicked Clowns, ICP. Just that album right there. Classic, love it.
Absolutely. Actually, I'm Coming Home. When we were living in New Zealand and we found out we were actually coming back to America, that was the jam that I started blasting pretty much all day.
Yep.
So,
dope.
Hell yeah. All right, I believe we're down to number 2.
Sir.
Now, I picked this one again because it more or less came out like a compilation album, even though it's one specific artist. But Violent J's Wizard of the Hood. This fucking album beautifully portrays a story all the way through, and to see it performed live together in 17 is probably the greatest show I've ever been to. Even though I couldn't see that well, I could see enough of the magic. So I picked Wizard of the Hood because that was such a great collab album for a solo artist to do.
Yeah.
I thought it was fucking great storytelling.
Absolutely. I've said it and will continue to say it. Violent J in hip hop is one of the most underrated storytellers. Yeah, it's kind of cartoonish. It's horror movie-esque. It's not your typical hip hop shit. But who's telling stories like this guy? A whole album. He's taking Wizard of Oz, but it's Wizard of the Hood. He's got his homeboys. He's got the Scarecrow who he smokes with, the Tin Man, the Lion. You know what I mean? So dope.
Yeah.
Great album. The production on there, Mike P killed the production on there. That bass hits heavy.
Oh, dude, homies to smoke with. I remember when we first got Hell's Pit, right when we were like really diving headfirst into ICP's discography. We got the Hell's Pit that had the concert. They performed Homies to Smoke With, and I'm like, what the fuck is this song? It's catchy as shit. So when I finally got Wizard of the Hood, that was immediately the first song I went to. I was like, God damn, this is a great song.
Hell yeah, I love that song. Him and Monoxide kill that. The beat is so dope too. It's definitely a smoking track for sure.
And I don't even smoke. Actually, for the longest time, it was I need some homies to hang with.
Dope. Yeah, man. Not mad at that at all. Great storytelling from Violent J. Classic EP. I remember that shit being rumored to come out for a while, and then it finally dropped, and it was like, holy shit, he actually did it. And it's really dope. All right. So we're at fucking number 2. All right. Number 2. Twisted's Abominations. My favorite album from Twisted is Most Tasteless, but again, this is their best work, in my opinion. I could on any given day, this could be my favorite Twisted album, depending on the mood I'm in as well. When this album dropped, goddamn, they leveled up like crazy. The production from 7 on here, nuts. Like Monoxide's level up as a rapper from like Independence Day to this album, you could gradually hear him get better and better and better. Monoxide was always dope, but like he just got his flow down on this album right here in particular, rapping his ass off. Same with Madrox, killing it on this album. It flows so fucking well. They only have two guest features on here, Royce da 5'9" and ICP. Both the guest features are dope. I never thought about putting this in the top wicked shit category, but now that I'm thinking about it right now, it probably would have to. Just because it's that great of an album. Their best body of work still to this day. Mad good songs on there. Rep That Wicked. I love that shit. Lift Me Up. I love when they get on that emo kind of vibe, but not go full emo with the rock shit, you know what I mean? Like I like when they do it. I like when they do it like the emo raps, I guess. And then you got Coin Flip Lunatic with Royce da 5'9". Royce da 5'9" is my favorite rapper out right now. Love Royce. Second to no one. And then you got the classic Love Don't Live Here Anymore.
Oh,
love that shit, man. So yeah, number 2, Twisted Abominations.
Abominations to me was their response to people hating on Heartbroken homicidal. And on the same aspect, to me, it was them kind of looking at Tech Nine and where he was getting at that time, and like, all right, we can fucking do some fast shit.
Right. Yeah.
Because they started chopping like crazy in that album.
Especially Monoxide. You never really heard Monoxide chop like that until this album.
Yeah, up to that point, it was primarily just Madrox.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Madrox was always fast rapping. Even back in the HOK days, if you go back and listen to some of that shit, there's a couple fast tracks when he did solo Mr. Bones shit. He was rapping pretty quick. But yeah, and the production, like I said, from Seven is a monster, man. That guy, he's got to be one of the most busiest producers. He's doing all of Strange. He's doing a ton of shit for M&E. He's doing shit for ICP now. Like, god damn, like this dude.
I mean, I've been seeing Buckshot's been getting a lot of beats from him too. It's like, fuck, dude, I could not imagine being that damn busy.
Yeah, he works with Mac Lethal as well. Like, Seven is a monster, and he killed, according to Monoxide, as of a few years ago at a panel they did at the Rock and Shock convention when they come to Worcester, Mass. They do the Rock and Shock convention. It's kind of like it's like a horror Comic-Con, horror convention. And they did a panel, and Monoxide said that Abominations was Seven's favorite album that he produced. I don't know if it's really? Still like that to this day, but as of a few years ago, that's what Monoxide said.
One of the things I always kind of wondered too is if like the artists could all agree to let this happen, and Seven just take and kind of swap, kind of like what Mikey Clark did with the Murder Mix, kind of do something like that, but like see what Twisted would sound like on a Tech Nine song over the same beat, vice versa, Tech Nine killing a beat that they did. I thought that would always be something interesting to see come out sometime, but I don't think everybody would be like, oh yeah, let's do this, because who do you give the rights to at that point?
Yeah, the business on that would be fucking way too complicated and convoluted, and make sure and everybody it could happen. That would be dope if it happened, but yeah, that would be too. I mean, Seven kind of did that with Blaze's Gang Rags. They took the original Gang Rags and Seven remixed it.
Yeah. Oh, dude, he really saved that because, I mean, I like the extended cuts, but he fucking pumped so much fucking greatness into that.
That's my favorite version of Gang Rags out of all three versions, even the Psychopathic one.
Oh yeah.
That one, Seven brought life into that album. Like, that's how that album originally should have sounded.
Absolutely.
All right, we're down. And then there was one.
Okay. Then there was one. And my number one was your number 5, Tales from the Lotus Pod. And for all the OGs out there, there is the Red Book in here as well. So I got both of them here. We're not going to do the whole debate of which one's better. I have a mix that I like. But Tales from the Lotus Pod, the first collab, I believe this didn't come out before. No, Dumpin' came out first. And I believe even maybe Right and Dirty. But this was the first group that was conceived, if that makes sense, because they planned this clear back before Jekyll Brothers came out. So Tales from Lotus Pod was the first group, in my eyes. It just never made it to CD till later. And it really kicked off the family era. It kicked off the height of Psychopathic, in my opinion. It just, ICP and Twisted really do work good together. Blaze is great right in there in the mix. Regardless of if they had ABK or if they had Mars, it could have just been the 5 of them, and the album still would have been a banger. There's actually a version out there on YouTube called the 5 Pedals version where they just completely took Mars and ABK out, and that album actually still sounds really great. But I picked Tales from Lotus Pod because, again, like you said, it's the wickedest album that you could come up with if you was to give up, like, what is the wickedest album? I would say Tales from Lotus Pod.
Absolutely. I'm not mad at that for number 1. You got songs on there like Headache. That's my favorite song on there. Just so hard, so dark.
Very dark. I mean, you say Dark Lotus, and the intro to Headache is the first thing that I'm
Yep,
hearing.
like that's the epitome of wicked shit right there. Absolutely. And then you got more fun tracks on there, like "Bitch I'm Sexy." Like that's a fun track. So dope
Oh
though.
yeah.
And then the classic "Juggalo Family."
Yes. And the Mars version is the better
It is. I don't like that "Until Eternity" shit.
It just doesn't even
No,
make
it doesn't.
sense. Until eternity. You mean for all
Right,
eternity?
right. But yeah, classic album. All right, my number one. This is not going to come as a surprise at all, probably to anybody. Gray Malenko. Yeah, it's my favorite ICP album, but it's my favorite album ever. It's their best produced album, their best body of work, in my opinion. The level that they were on for this album, Mikey Clark's production, everything about this album is fucking perfect from the intro to the last note of Pass Me By. The skits in between, not one bad thing with this album. This is a perfect, perfect album. Yeah, this is the album that a lot of fans hopped on. This is the album I hopped on. You know, I was one, and shit, here I am 22 years later, still here. You know, a lot of people, you know, can't say that. But
Right.
yeah, man, this album, I got it autographed a couple years back when I finally got to meet him at a VIP. Had to get this autographed.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, for me, this is the epitome of ICP. And I didn't want to do a repeat of two groups in the top 5, but to not include Riddle Box, in my opinion, is like, you know what I mean? I had to do it. I
Yeah.
was gonna try to do a different. I was gonna try to do 5 different artists, but like I feel
Yeah.
bad for leaving
But see,
ABK out. Like Hatchet Warrior is so classic.
yeah. Well, see, that's how my top 5 would have looked if I did do it the way without setting the parameters. It would have been Great Malenko. It would have been Riddle Box number 2. It would have been Wicked from Twisted number 3. Number 4 probably would have been the Opaque Brotherhood, because that's actually my favorite Dark
Great
Lotus
album.
album. And then number 5, I don't know. I don't know what I would put in the number 5 spot. Probably Ringmaster. So, I mean, you can see why I set up the parameters, because it was going to be a very ICP stoked
Yep.
list.
Yeah. I mean, like we were talking a little bit before the show started. I was like, you could easily throw like the first 5 Joker cards and call it a day. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, because it's just the shit that they were doing in the 90s. Just such classic material. People like, I don't know if people like to hate on Carnival Carnage. They say it sounds dated. It does. I mean, it's kind of robotic sounding because it came, you know, dropped in 92. But I mean, still classic material on there. But I like how
I
you
wouldn't
went
so
with
much.
the compilations. That's really dope.
Well, because I mean, you could do a top 5 ICP. You could do a top 5 Twisted. I'm like, we're doing a top 5 Psychopathic. That's why I went with compilations, because I'm like, let's think outside of the normal top 5. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if you ever want to have me back for a top 5 ICP, we'll do it like that next time.
No doubt. Yeah, man. You thought outside of the box. I thought I was thinking outside the box, especially adding Clockwork Rae and Abominations in there. But shit, there's no way I would have thought of putting compilations on there. But it's great because you get to showcase everybody. I mean, shit, you could throw what's that one called, the Hatchet History compilation. That's a really good compilation.
That's actually one I've not heard.
Oh, there's real
Yeah, that's one that I don't have in my collection.
yeah, that's got everything up until what 2002 on there. They even got a song from Project Born on there, a Misery song, couple Zug Islands, ABK. I don't even think ABK had put out an album yet, but Gang Related was on there. So it was a nice little mix of what they had done up until 2002, which is a lot of fucking classic material.
Oh, it sounds like something I need to be picking
Yeah.
up. I don't know why I haven't.
Yeah, man. Really good compilation. But I dig your list. And for Tales from the Lotus Pod to be at number one, fucking absolutely. Great album. Classic.
Definitely.
Yeah, man. So we got a little bit of time to kill. You want to hang out for a few minutes or?
Hey, let's hang. I'm good for
All
a little
right.
bit.
So you put out a video last week. I figured we could talk about this. You put out a video last week saying what's up with next year's gathering. What can they do next? And what were
Right.
your ideas?
My ideas was a Forgotten Freshness set, and I called it the Epic set, which was basically just a play on the word
Yep.
EP, where they just play all the EPs, a mix of the songs off all the EPs they put out. That shit would be dope.
That would be dope. It's kind of like a B-side, like Jay-Z, he just recently did a B-side show, not performing any of his hits, but performing, probably fan favorites. And there's a lot of good shit on Forgotten Freshness. I thought that was a dope idea because if you take all the great cuts from Forgotten Freshness, you could easily put together. I mean, shit, you could perform Forgotten Freshness 1 and 2 and call it a day.
Oh yeah,
Like, but
yeah. I got a lot of comments from people that are like, "Oh, Forgotten Freshness 1 and 2 is like the best." I'm like, I'm not disputing that.
yeah, like, and there's dope shit on 3, 4, 5 was kind of and I still haven't heard. No, I did hear 6, but I don't have a copy of it, and that was kind of too. But there's at least a few bangers on each Forgotten Freshness. The first 3, Forgotten Freshness 3 was really dope because that's when
I would say Forgotten Freshness 4 is the one that had the most poopy ones, if that makes sense. I mean, If I Was a King is fun, but it's kind of like, find myself wanting to hit the skip button. Same way with Stale, Bodies Fly. There's a couple of them on there that's like, okay, let's get some good shit.
yeah, I like the old school Ringmaster cuts that were on that one though.
Oh, yeah. The Terror Wheel outtake skits.
What was it? Dear ICP? That was on there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Dear ICP, that was dope. But yeah. And then did you listen to my latest episode of my podcast?
The one about your idea for the gathering?
So I said Bizarre because it'll be 20 years. That was the first, when you were saying the video, when you were, saying your ideas and you wanted to hear what other people thought, that was the first thought in my head. I was like, 20 years of Bizarre. Super underrated album from ICP. Love both those albums. Really good shit. And that would be dope. They, they could do it on 2 nights, mix it up.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I would say it'd be great for a gathering, but I kind of see them pulling that one for a Juggalo Day. Just because they typically do the 2-day event for Juggalo weekend. And I think Bizarre is probably when they'll do it. And hopefully they'll realize that next year is the perfect time to do it. But like you said, they need to do a vinyl. There needs to be a vinyl put out for Bizarre. I don't know if they'll get the permission from Island to do it, but
I really hope so, because they could do some really dope packaging for that. For a vinyl,
God, yeah.
Like, they could do some really dope shit for a package for that. Like, what was it? The Marvelous Missing Link was a 4 vinyl set, 4 LP set.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was. That thing is fucking heavy too.
Yeah, I'm always trying to carefully pull it out of the case.
And they could do something similar for Bizarre. That would be super dope. I love the the reissues on vinyl. I pick up every one that they dropped. I love that shit.
I put out a video at the beginning of the year talking about the 20th anniversary of Bizarre Bazaar, and hoping that they put out an anniversary edition of it, which I'm willing to bet now that's not going to happen because we haven't seen the Amazing Jeffrey Brothers anniversary edition release. But whether they did a vinyl and or an anniversary CD, like you said, they could do some great, awesome shit with those packaging. Like just as we're talking about it, I just thought, ooh, a puzzle, fucking puzzle pieces inside the vinyl would be fucking dope.
Like so much dope shit. And as a stage show, like you said, that'd be something more for Juggalo Day, because that's kind of the reoccurring theme with Juggalo Day is pulling out those album performances. But think about the stage set for Bizarre Bazaar. The stage set for it back in the day was super dope. And if they were to bring it back now and soup it up, that shit would be crazy.
Yeah, see, that's the one thing, like, if I had access to a time machine, I'd be going back to the fucking 90s. I'd be going and seeing these dope shows. Because I was unfortunate to not get into them until 2002. My sister was listening to them for 5 years prior to that, but, you know, it didn't appeal to me until the right time. And even then, it took another 5 years, until 2007, when I was 19 years old, getting my first job, before it was like, all right, I can buy this merch. All right, I can go to this show. It's when I went to the first Halloween, or my first Halloween, my first show completely. It was like, timing was terrible. So I want a time machine to go back and live these glory days.
Yeah, man. I wish. I mean, I got down in 97, late 97, early 98. I don't really remember, but I know for sure it was Great Malenko. And I remember them coming, was it the House of Horrors tour? And it was either HOK was opening up, or it was Twisted when Twisted first started, and Cottonmouth Kings. And I remember seeing the line, and I had just got into ICP, and I was like, oh, I should go. And then I was like, nah, I don't have nobody to go with. I didn't really have any friends that was into the shit. I was kind of like the only one. And I was like, fucking, how old was I? 14, 15. I was like, nah, fuck that. It's kind of sketchy. I was a little bitch and didn't do it. But yeah, man, a time machine would be dope.
Oh yeah, I still get nervous sometimes going to shows. I don't even know why. I think it's a mix of nervousness and excitement, but I'm also surprisingly bashful. So getting me out into a public crowd like that, I tend to clam up a little bit more. So I think that's probably what the biggest nervousness is. But
yeah, I pretty much attend shows solo. I have been for years. Every once in a while, I'll run into somebody I know at the show. But I think I saw that video you were talking about, the Bizarre Bazaar. Did you mention if they did something like the System of a Down, Mesmerize and Hypnotize packaging?
Yes, that's if they do an anniversary, I want the packaging to tie in together the way that Mesmerize and Hypnotize does.
That would be dope, because I remember watching that video and I was like, damn, that is a dope idea. Digipack, connect them together. As much as I might not like Digipack, because you've really got to take care of it so it doesn't get beat up. But Digipack is dope if you know. I mean, I have a collection. I take care of my shit, so it's not a big deal for me. But that would be super dope. And even with the vinyl, get all four of the vinyl, do some kind of super dope packaging on the inside, have some kind of pull out. It'd be really dope.
I just realized that vinyl, if it ever does come to light, is going to cause a lot of fucking dizziness, because I can see them putting the fucking spiral on the actual disc. So it's on the turntable spinning, and you're
puking.
Just like, fuck.
Puking on the vinyl.
Damn.
Yeah, man. So what do you think of the idea of maybe the 20th annual was the last gathering?
I really hadn't thought about it. I guess I kind of assume it's going to continue on, but knowing that some of the porta potties got flat out destroyed, and that seems to be the biggest issue they're having is getting porta potties. It wouldn't surprise me if it is the last one, but I don't know. I guess in my mind, I can't fathom it being the last one yet. But I will say, if it is the last one, they ended it perfectly because Super Gathering was fucking dope. And as long as something of some form continues, obviously Juggalo Day would probably continue. I really hope they're going to be able to succeed in booking a convention center for DCG Con. And as long as the Hollow Wickets continue, I would actually be content with the Gathering ending, but it would suck.
Yeah. Like I said in my show, I've never been. I probably never will, even if it were to continue. But it's just one of those things, even watching it from afar, it's like, it's one of those events, super dope. It's dope that they did Inner City Posse for their seminar, but disappointing. And had not other people brought up that, this could be the last gathering, I probably wouldn't have thought of it, but them not giving us any news doesn't sit well with the theory, I guess, that people are coming up with. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing to look forward to. We got Hollow Wicked, but what's after Hollow Wicked? Usually they tell us about Juggalo Day, upcoming releases, which fucking flat out didn't happen last year other than Fearless Fred Fury.
Yeah, which was late.
But it was worth the wait, to be honest. But yeah, there's nothing to look forward to, and it's kind of crazy for the first time in a long time.
I'm kind of wondering if they may or may not have some kind of announcement at Hollow Wicked. I don't know. For some reason, because they didn't do anything at the gathering, it's kind of making me wonder. And I'm actually currently planning to go to this year's Hollow Wicked.
Okay.
So, like, I really hope that my feeling is real and not just like a complete, But I don't know. I just feel like maybe they're gonna have some kind of. I feel like it would be too early for a Joker card reveal, but it's not totally out of the realm of impossible because they're planning already a third set of Joker cards.
Right.
So if that's the goal, time to put it back into high gear like you guys did back in the 90s and fucking at least every 2 years Joker card instead of the 3 years.
I would like to see them go back to an every other year format, but I brought up the point that the way music is put out now, not that they need to remain fresh in the brains of juggalos, because juggalos are there, juggalos are loyal, but you need to put out music more consistently. And I really did think this too, and I just kind of threw it out there as like, maybe they'll do this at their seminar, is announce the next Joker's card, because Violent J's already said he knows the name of it. He knows what it's about. So I was like, shit, maybe we'll get, maybe not the name or visual, but maybe an announcement that 2020, we're going to get another Joker's card. We're going to get hit with another one, within a year or, whatever. Yeah. That would be...
It's very plausible because, they claim that it's the next Joker card is actually mentioned in Fearless Fred Fury. I still don't have the slightest clue what it could be. Brother is the only fucking word that, to me, stands out, but they've already kind of debunked it being the Bedlam Brothers or Brother Bedlam. So at this point, I don't know what it could be. But if it's in Fearless Fred Fury like they say, then I don't see why they couldn't have an image by Hollow Wicked. So
absolutely. And Hollow Wicked is usually when they would do their reveals.
Yeah.
So that would be dope. that would give us something to look forward to as well, since we didn't get a seminar with any news. I would be pretty excited for a new Joker's card because I thought Fearless Fred Fury delivered. It was a lot better than Missing Link. And if they're going to continue on that path of dope music like that, fucking bring it on.
Yeah.
And I would,
you know, I actually really like Marvelous Missing Link a lot, but when you listen to Mighty Death Pop, you listen to Missing Links, and then you go to Fearless Fred Fury, it's kind of like, this is definitely a black sheep. Like, you went from this to that to back to this.
Yeah.
It's drastic in the changes in sound.
I don't know. I think they were trying to recapture a moment that, like when they did the Wraith, Shangri-La, and Hell's Pit. I think they were trying to recapture that moment. There's no fucking way that they'll ever be able to recapture that moment. I don't know why I mean, maybe not, but if that's what they were thinking, there's no way. That was such a special time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But,
yeah, and I almost put the Race Shangri-La in this top 5 just because of what that album more or less was, the end of a saga.
Right. Yeah, I almost put it in mine, even though I have it ranked kind of low on my rankings of favorite ICP albums. I love the album. When I say, least favorite, it's like there's not many albums they put out that I straight up don't like. But yeah, man, it was a special time. It was so much hype for it. It was just like, oh shit, what is it? What is it? What is it? But yeah, the Missing Link was just they came back strong with Bang Pow Boom. Mighty Death Pop was even stronger. And then, I don't know, they just hit a road bump, but then they got back on the road with Fearless Fred Fury, came back swinging.
Oh, yeah.
Super dope shit. I wouldn't mind another solo Shaggy record.
I wouldn't either, dude. Fuck the fuck off, motherfucker. That actually should have been in my list. But goddamn, when that came out, it did not leave the CD player for a long time.
Yeah, the production on there was super dope. Him and Clay killed that shit. And he just did a feature for Maximum Overload, which is kind of like, it's weird seeing that because it's like not associated with Psychopathic at all. You don't ever see them do kind of features like that, especially with underground dudes like that either. So seeing him work like that, I would like to see him say, fuck it, I'm just going to do another album. That'd be dope. Or an EP or something. I thought Gloomy Sunday was really good.
Yeah, it was definitely the best out of the 2 EPs that we got this year.
Absolutely. But yeah, I think I'm going to wrap this up. And thank you again for hopping on this shit. Top 5. Let's go through our top 5 again. Why don't you say rename your top 5?
Top 5. Hurricane, Psychopathics from Outer Space Part 2. Zug Island's Cracked Tiles. Fucking Wizard of the Hood. Tales from Lotus Pod.
So dope. Such a dope showcase of everybody on the label, of all different eras. All right, my top 5. Number 5, Tales from the Lotus Pod, OG. Clockwork Rae from Blaze Your Dead Homie. Riddle Box from ICP. Number 2, Twisted's Abominations. And number 1, should have not been a surprise to anybody, the Great Malenko from ICP.
Hell yeah.
Thank you again for hopping on, man. Much appreciated.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. This was a lot of fun. And to everybody that's tuned in, until next time, I'm out. Peace.